Hello, everyone. My name is Janae Solomon. Welcome to week 3 of You Can Be and PA Cyber. We're excited to be broadcasting to you today. First, before we begin officially, I'd like to give you a background about myself. I've been in business for 17 years. My primary business is an accounting firm where I do accounting, bookkeeping, and consulting for small businesses. In addition to that, I also am the executive director of a nonprofit. With that being said, before I started the accounting firm, all of my life you can say I've been an entrepreneur. I've sold things like pillows, jewelry, never lemonade, but I sold drinks, but never lemonade. Homemade recipes. So we'll start with what is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is basically when you want to work for yourself. It's being self-employed and you are your own boss. Are there any questions? Do I take questions? So right now we'll talk about what you need to start a business. When you're starting a business, the first thing you need is an idea. It doesn't have to be a big idea, doesn't have to be grand. It can be any idea that you feel would be great for you to run as a business or just to try out, something that you think would be needed into the community. Most entrepreneurs start their business from an idea that stems from a need in the community or in the world, something that's lacking. You're solving a problem. So when you look around each day, you think, maybe I want to start my business. The first question you'd like to ask is, what problem am I solving? What is needed that's lacking? And that is how most entrepreneurs start, by solving a problem or providing something that's needed that's not there. And after you have your idea, then you basically want to see who has this need as well, and who would be willing to pay for it, which is what makes an idea a business. If no one's willing to pay for it, even if it's a need, it may be a nonprofit, or it may just be a hobby, or it just may be something you do for yourself. But for you to be in business, someone would want to pay you to provide that service. So who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur can be anyone, and you can start at any age. People think it's something you do when you go to college or afterwards, but there are tons of children that start their own business that may start as a science project or a high school project that turns eventually into a business. Anyone can start a business. Anyone can have an idea. Anyone can ask other people to help. The key is, once you have an idea and you see that there is a need, you can be any age before you start your business. Most entrepreneurs start with their idea and not a business plan. A business plan is a document you put together where you do research to find out what your market is, who are you selling to, how much can you sell your product or service for, what people are willing to pay for it, and where you can sell your product or service. These things go into business plan along with your financials and your cash flow. Well, how much money will come in and how much will go out. But the traditional entrepreneur starts with their idea and they make it work without a business plan because their passion, their hard work, and their dedication to their dream is more than enough to keep them going. Of course, to be successful, eventually you'll have to sit down, do some research, understand your market, and know is it viable or feasible. For myself, I've actually never written a business plan for myself or my business. I've been flexible and change. I look at what's going on in the market and I change quickly. If you're someone that needs to have everything written down step by step, then doing a business plan is a good idea. If you are open to taking a risk, then you can learn quickly, fail fast, get up and keep moving, which most entrepreneurs do. But it's always good to have a plan. In terms of profit, you have to know what you're selling, how much you're selling it for, and what someone is willing to pay. Profit is what will happen when you're selling your product or service for more than it's costing. Where people lose their money and where you should always track is your time. Your time is the most valuable asset that you'll ever have. You cannot get it back. And so that's where money is lost. You always want to track your time. Even when you're planning your idea or you're writing it down, you want to see how much time is this taking for me to do it. When you're starting your business, it's always good to have people that are role models or advisors or people that you think they have done well in business, or you can ask for advice. No one person knows everything. It could be your parents, it could be a friend, it could be a teacher, but the key is to always have someone that you can go and ask questions when you're unsure. Or even when you're pretty sure, but you just need someone to validate that you're right. It's great to have a team or even just one person that you can look up to. When you start your business, it's always great to just make a list to say, who are my advisors? Maybe it's mom, maybe it's dad, or both, or a friend. Sometimes I ask my dog Charlie because he barks and I just say that's a yes. Or if he barks twice, I say that's a double yes. When you're growing your business, you just always want to start with what you can handle. Sometimes big is great, sometimes small is great. But the key thing in growing your business and as an entrepreneur is to really understand who you are, what you can handle, how many people you want to work with, and what you can manage. The size of your business, what you sell, all depends on you. You have to really, really know yourself in business. A lot of entrepreneurs really understand who they are. They know their strengths, they know their weakness, and they know what they can and cannot do. So they will surround themselves with people to make their business very strong and healthy. So when you're starting your business, you may really, really love to cook, but you may not love to cook for other people. So you may not want to open a restaurant. But if you know, well, I like to eat, you may open a restaurant that serves really good food because you can manage. So the more you know yourself, the better your business will be. You can spend time just doing a quick assessment of who you are, what you love, what you don't love, and then you can find people who love things that is not so much what you want to do. Those are the fundamentals in building your own business. So when people have a business idea, they often think, well, what can I sell? What can I do? Even if it doesn't come to you right away, you can start with something that's very simple, like chocolate chip cookies. There's a lady that sells chocolate chip cookies for 5 days at a world fair and makes $1.2 million. And then she teaches because she loves to teach. But with her business, for 5 days, she's known as the chocolate chip cookie lady. And that is her business. And she says, when I'm sick of chocolate chip cookies, I'll do something else. But within those 5 days, she's able to make $1.2 million. So the key is to find something that you love or you can love, and you don't mind spending a lot of time nurturing your business idea. Today, it's easy to start a business because all of the red tape that you needed before just aren't there. Once you have an idea, you can start your business using your own name. If your business grows, then of course you want to register your business, which you can get help with. But the key thing is having your own name and having an idea is enough to start a business. With technology, your business is no longer local or in your own backyard. You can take your idea global with a camera or a phone and market your business to people all over the world. So with, I think it's over 76 or 72 billion people in the world, there may be other people that want to buy your product or your idea. So you're in a global market just by being around and starting a business in 2015. So what is a business? A business is when you're selling a product or service to a target market. Those are your buyers. This product or service can be anything. Once you're able to sell it and someone else doesn't own the rights to it, then you're good to go. So you couldn't start a business selling Pepsi because Pepsi has Pepsi. But if you asked Pepsi, can I sell Pepsi? They'll say yes, but you have to give us a cut. And then you would be a distributor. So even if you have a similar idea, you can still ask for permission and to sell that service or that product. So what should you charge when you're starting your business? When someone starts their business, they often wonder, how much is someone willing to pay? In my practice, when someone asks this question, I always say, think of the most ridiculous price. So ridiculous if you said it, someone will laugh. And then double it and start there. That way, when you start your business, you can know the maximum someone's willing to pay. When coffee first entered the market, the average price was $1. You can stop at any gas station and for $1 leave with a cup of joe. When Starbucks came along, they said they would charge, their average price would be $3, and it was laughable at the time. No one would ever pay $3 for a cup of coffee. So you see now that person was wrong, because billions of people in several countries pay over $3 for a cup of coffee. The same thing with the cell phone. When the cell phone was invented, people said, who would ever want to make phone calls outside of their home or on the street? And now we see there's a lot of people who would want to make phone calls outside of their home or walking down the street because cell phones are very popular. The iPhone just sold, I think, over 70 million units. So do most entrepreneurs go to school? In the past, many entrepreneurs went to school, but not for entrepreneurship. My background is in accounting. I have an accounting degree from Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. And when I went to school, I had a scholarship for accounting. But I always knew I wanted to own my own business only because I'm not the typical 9-to-5 employee. So now, like Duquesne University, there are entrepreneurship programs, and they actually have classes to help you start your own business. When I went to Duquesne, they did not have an entrepreneurship program. They did not promote starting your own business. They mainly promoted working for a firm or working for someone else. But today, they have a great entrepreneurship program and a whole department dedicated for small business and entrepreneurship. And many other colleges and universities are following the same path, where they have a whole section for entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs. And those entrepreneurs are able to also have a double major. So you can be an entrepreneur major in conjunction with a music major, which again did not exist when I was in school back in the day. So right now, I think we can take some questions.
I'll let you know. Okay, I have one student that wanted to know, can you tell us a little bit more about your own business and your own career? Where they wanted to, they were asking if you pretty much own a small development center.
So you wanted to know more about my business. So my main business is an accounting firm, and I do accounting, which is bookkeeping, consulting, tax returns. And what I do is I help anyone that has a dream or a passion develop their business idea. I've been in business for 17 years, as I mentioned, and how my business works is I have a specific strategy to help people take their idea, break it down into digestible bites, and then deliver that idea into the community.
And this is from Gina. She also wanted to know, what if she were to start a store and bought a good majority of supplies to stock her store? How would she determine how much to sell her products for?
Okay, so basically, if you want to start a store where you're a reseller, you start at what's called markup. Markup starts at 200%. So basically, if you purchased an item for $1 and you marked it up 100%, you're at $1. So if you marked it up 200%, you're now selling that product for $2. So typically, if you go to any store, the average item is marked up as much as 1,200%. Most are about 800%. So if a shirt is costing that seller $10, sometimes you can see the shirt selling for about $95. But mainly it depends on the product. Certain things like clothing and jewelry have a high markup, where other items like furniture, they don't have a high markup. So the profit margin varies based on what you're paying for it.
Yeah, and Jana, she has a little jewelry business where she makes and sells jewelry. So her product is just one that's specific to the jewelry that she makes.
Yeah, so if you make jewelry, then to get your right price, you have to look at all of the pieces of your jewelry, how much it costs, and then your final cost. And as I mentioned before, the most valuable asset you have is time. So you have to always measure, how long does it take me to make this piece of jewelry, or how long does it take me to provide whatever service I'm providing. And you have to add a dollar amount to your time. Your time has a value that you determine what it's worth. So if you say my time is worth $10 per hour and you put in 1 hour, then that cost has to be factored into your product or service. The key part of anyone's business is to value the time that they put into creating their product or service. If you never put a value to your time, you're already underpaying yourself. It's something people forget to do. They just look at the actual cost of the items. So every time you sit down to create a piece of jewelry or to provide a service, you have to say, I'm sitting here, my time is worth X amount of dollars, and then you multiply that by the amount of time you spent. And that amount goes into your final price.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the price difference between items that are manufactured in large quantity, like mass-produced items, versus homemade items, or what it would cost a small company to produce the same items?
So when an item is manufactured, the price goes down because of volume. When you can program a machine to make 50,000 pieces of item A, then the cost of that is less than if you had a person hand making any piece of item. That's why things that are handmade should, and most times they do, cost more money than something that's created at a manufacturing company. For example, if you bought a handmade suit or dress, it would be more expensive than if you went and bought it from a store where that suit or dress was manufactured in a company. And the main reason is because of the person's time. If someone has to measure you, buy the material, sew that suit or sew that dress, and then make sure it's a perfect fit, it should cost more than if a machine is just belting those dresses out and it fits you or doesn't.
I had, might have answered this partially before, but Paige wanted to know, how much money should you pay yourself out of your own pocket?
So how much money should you pay yourself? That's a great question. The first thing is you need to determine how much money you want before you start. You are your own boss. You ask yourself for a raise. You should ask that question first. Before you start your business, before you sell a product or service, you should say, how much do I want to pay myself? How much do I want to make? And once you decide that amount, then the amount of your product or service is based on that. So if you're running a store and you're selling products and you know your markup is a certain amount, you put your salary in that amount to make sure at the end of the week you can pay yourself exactly what you've determined you deserve.
And Paige also wanted to know a little bit about warranties and guarantees. Maybe what are the benefits and drawbacks from warranties on or guarantees with the products?
So warranties and guarantees are a risk in business. When you guarantee something or you put a warranty on something, you're actually adding a risk to your business. So you're saying, I guarantee that this will work, or this will not break, or I will replace this. Most times, the best way to make this of value to your business is to have a warranty or guarantee company, just like an insurance company, be the middleman for your company. Because when you tell the customer that they are always right, the product will never fail, it will cost money if the product fails or if the customer isn't right.
Unless you want to share maybe some stories you have about people you know that started up their own companies and what caused them to be successful or unsuccessful, things they learned from.
So in entrepreneurship, there are many ideas. Not all of them may be a perfect business idea. So people always ask, what will make someone successful or what will make them fail? The truth is, anytime you start a business, everything you learn will help you to take you to the next idea or the next job or the next product. So your business may not stay open, you may close, and some people may say it's a failure, but really what you take from it is more experience than if you did not do your business or your idea. So if you have a business or idea, you definitely should pursue it because everything you learn from it would help. I really don't look at things as a failure. I look at it as this was a different way to learn. But what makes people successful is planning and being flexible and being able to change. But at the end of the day, you're in business and you're in business to make money. And if you don't, that's why businesses fail. It's a math problem. That's what it is. When you add how much it costs to provide your product or service and you add your revenue, if your revenue does not exceed the expenses, then your business is failing. The key is to know this right away and to stop anything that's causing you to lose money. So in business, either people don't know they're losing money, they don't know what's causing them to lose money, or they know what's causing them to lose money and they just don't make the decision fast enough to keep them in business. So the key thing is, like I said, it's a math problem. You have to make more money than you spend, and you have to make more money than you spend quickly. So if it will cost you more to run your business than you are making, it's going to fail. The key thing is to always know your profit margin, always know how much you're making, always know when you will make it, and you'll be successful. The ideas, most ideas are great. Businesses rarely fail because the idea was horrible. It fails because the idea did not get to the right people that were willing to pay the right price for it fast enough. So if you know you have a great idea, you have to know who will be willing to pay for that idea, how soon they will be willing to pay for it, and it's gonna cost to execute your idea. An example that I have, and uh, this person is local to Pittsburgh. They had an idea selling cardboard boxes, and he started a business just selling cardboard boxes, and he didn't invent cardboard boxes. He just one day said, everyone uses a cardboard box, and started selling cardboard boxes, and his business was very successful. He sold the business, made money from it, and started another business. So it could be that simple, where you're just selling something that you know people will need. Um, it could be something that you just love to do. I have clients who own restaurants because they love to cook, or they own restaurants because they love to eat, but they're not the chef. Or there are people who just love to do hair, so they have a salon. They love to make jewelry, so they make jewelry. They love to do makeup, so they start a business doing makeup and traveling to different movie and commercial sets doing makeup. I have a client who loves to shop, and I said, just shop for other people. And so that's what she does. She's a personal shopper and can go shopping for you and make you look fabulous because that's what she loves to do. And all of these people I've mentioned were able to take their love or their passion, turn it into a business, and make it something that would provide a living. So being your own boss is very difficult because it requires discipline. When you have a job, your boss tells you what time to show up for work, what time to take a break, what time to go to lunch, what time to leave, how many vacation days you have. It's very structured. As an entrepreneur, you have to structure your day. You have to create the discipline that you need to start your day, end your day, take your breaks, send your invoices, or just make your product. Sometimes you want to bake pies and you loved baking pies every day for the first week. But in that second week, you just didn't want to get up and bake pies, but you have 1,000 orders for pies. That's when you don't have a boss saying, someone's waiting for your pies. You have to get up, be disciplined, set your schedule, and make sure that you manage your time, because there's 24 hours in every day. And as an entrepreneur, you have to know what's important, what's not important, what you can do tomorrow, and what needs to be done today. That's the key thing. Because you are your own boss, it means you have to discipline yourself to get things done timely so that your business can make money. It's something you can start at a very young age. Set a goal, set a time, set time frames, and make sure you stick to it. Because as an entrepreneur, No one is there telling you when to do anything. You're the one that decides your schedule. You decide what you'll do, how long you'll do it, what time you'll do it, and either you write it down or you create a calendar for yourself that you follow. Being disciplined is one of the hardest parts of being an entrepreneur because you sometimes work long hours or you sometimes don't have to work, which can make you behind schedule because you don't have to get things done in a certain time. But when they're due, then you may run out of time because you've procrastinated. All of this takes discipline. This is why we all have deadlines. This is why taxes are due on April 15th. Because if they were due whenever, people just wouldn't get them done. So for yourself, you have to make real and realistic deadlines. Another part of being an entrepreneur is managing your money. Managing money is very important as an entrepreneur because all of the money that will come in is not all yours. Some of it belongs to the government. As an employee, the government takes their money before you get it. So when you get your paycheck, it's all yours. As an entrepreneur, you get all the money, and then you have to send it in to the government or a vendor or a supplier or employees or contractors. So managing your money, having a great budget will also help your business, because one of the things that entrepreneurs fail to manage is their cash and knowing exactly how much of it belongs to them when it comes in. All of the money that comes into a business as an entrepreneur is never yours. It always has to be divided into pieces, and the government usually gets paid first. That's how it works. So understanding this is what helps businesses be successful. That even though you make a ton of money, it all comes to you. It's not all of your money.
Another question from Janice. She wanted to know, companies like Google and Amazon, what are some different ways that people start these companies by themselves and they grow to be such a huge success and a name that everybody knows?
Right. That's a great question. So when you start a company, the way that they grow to be a Google or an Amazon is from investors. Other people's money and them investing in your idea is what helps companies grow faster. An investor does not always have to be a stranger. An investor could be a parent or an aunt or an uncle or even a sibling. An investor or having other people's money is what helps a business grow a lot faster. Similar to an investor, a line of credit or a loan or any type of funding that is not your own funding is what makes you grow. If you wanted to get money from anyone, then you would be a public company where people can just buy shares in your company. Part of this is when someone invests in your company, you don't own your company anymore. You just own a part of it. Because every time someone invests in your company, you're exchanging the value of your company for their money. Another way of getting money is a business loan from a bank, a government program. The government has several programs for entrepreneurs, or a grant, or simply by getting some type of credit from the government to start your business. But companies that are very large, like Google or Amazon, Facebook, they have investors that invest millions of dollars to help them grow faster.
Good question. How much does accounting service cost?
How much does accounting services cost? Well, I can only talk about my business. So a typical service from me to just get consulting and helping you start your business is $150. But accounting service varies depending on the accountant and what they do. In my practice, I do everything from registering businesses to keeping people's books to consulting, tax management and strategies, tax filing. So most times an accountant can come in and help you for just a few $100s a year, depending on who you choose, I would say.
Good question. Can you tell us a little bit about the corporation, the difference between a small business and a corporation, and what are the advantages of incorporating them?
So when you're starting a business, you can choose the type of entity that you want to be. And each entity is a structure designated by the government to help you in how you're taxed and how you run your business. The most simple type of business is a sole proprietor. A sole proprietor would be just yourself starting out using a social security number and your own name to start a business. You can expand your sole proprietor business to have a tax ID number and a fictitious name and still be a sole proprietor. When your business grows, for liability purposes, you can then be an LLC. An LLC just means limited liability. And limited liability means if someone sues you or someone feels that they have damages, they can only collect from you what the business has. They can't come after your personal assets or your bank account. And so it's called a limited liability. You can also have an S corporation. An S corporation are shareholders. They're people who are owners in the business, much like a C corporation, except an S corporation has a limit. A C corporation has a board of directors. There are people who really are running your company. And beyond a C corporation, you can have a hybrid of those types of companies. So you're thinking, why do I need to have an entity set up for my company? Really, it's because of risk. When you're in business, you can do anything that sometimes can or cannot harm someone else. Having a separate entity will separate you from your business. It can be something as simple as having a catering business and not properly putting ingredients into a dish where someone has food allergies. It could be, there's many small mistakes that cause businesses to go out of business. There are many large mistakes. Having a separate entity will separate your business from yourself so that if something does happen, you are protected personally and the business stands by itself. What are you trying to protect? You're protecting your name. You're protecting your assets like cash, your house, whatever your family owns. That's why you have a separate entity, basically to protect yourself from anything that goes wrong into the business.
Right. A couple more questions. If you could give us guidelines or first steps that you would use to approach starting your own business, what are the very first things you would do to build up that foundation?
So when you're starting a business, the first thing, as I mentioned, you need is an idea. The very first, you have to say, what am I selling? And when you start with your idea, then you have to put a price to that product or service. Because the first thing you'll do in your business is charge. When you start a business, you need a name if you're not using your own name. So if you decide to not use your own name for your business, you need to register your name with the government. That's the very first step. If when running your business, you're not using your social security number, which goes on every document with a supplier, then you need a tax ID number. A tax ID number is free. Registering your name in Pennsylvania, at least it's $70. You can start a business up and running for less than $200. If you see someone saying, well, it costs thousands, it doesn't. It can if you're paying someone to do it, but the actual filing fees to have your business up and running is less than $200. So the first thing you want to do, other than having your idea, is having a name for your business if you're not using your own name, and having a tax ID number if you're not using your social security number, which you can. And after you have that, then you need customers. You should determine who they are. You can also have a website. A lot of businesses, when they start, they build a website right away, but a website goes out to the world. It's the World Wide Web. So before you build your website, you should know, what am I selling? How much am I selling it for? Who am I selling it to? Who is willing to pay? Before you start marketing your business. The best thing to do with your idea is test it out on the people around you and then expand. Once you see your idea is creating a buzz, then you can set up a website and start marketing your business if you know you have the capacity to deliver your product or service. You don't want to do too much marketing or too much advertising before knowing that you can supply your product or service. If you go on the World Wide Web, you launch your idea today, someone sees it and thinks it's a great product and they want to order 5,000 units, you have to make sure that you can handle 5,000 units. So before you do too much marketing or advertising, always be sure that you can manage the capacity of the business. So when you first start your business, you have to make sure that you register that business. If you're selling a product and it's taxable wherever you're selling it, you have to register to have a tax ID number. If it's not taxable, then you don't need that. But if you're selling a product or service, you have to make sure that you have a tax ID number to sell the product or service. After you have everything registered, you have the right ID numbers, then you can go out and start selling.
Great. Let me give you one more question, then if you'd like to take a couple minutes to wrap up or add anything that you'd like to have your own, and feel free. Kind of wrap up for the day. But if we have students that are interested in being entrepreneurs and business owners, and they're looking to go to college and get a degree, what type of classes do you recommend, and what kind of college program or degree would you recommend getting?
So if you're going to college and you know you want to be an entrepreneur, I'll say two things about that. Some of the greatest entrepreneurs don't have college degrees, not to deter you from going to college. It's just a fact. Second, if you went to college and you wanted to start your own business, you definitely need an accounting class. And I'm not saying that because I'm an accountant. You want to be able to count your own money. Even if you have an accountant doing it, you want to be able to understand your financials and understand where your money is going, where it's coming from. So definitely have an accounting class. The second class is marketing. You should take as many marketing classes as possible, because even with a great product or idea, if no one knows about it, will not make a difference. A finance class is great as well. In addition to that, a communications class. If you can't communicate your idea to someone else and have them excited to purchase your product or service, then your business will fail. So accounting, marketing, communications, and if there's a human resource or human relations class, then I would definitely take that class, because you will be working with people, and working with people is very difficult. I could say that having my own business. If you can take a class that teaches you how to work with people, work with your employees, because remember, you will be the boss, and work with other entrepreneurs, I would definitely take that class twice, because working with people is, and selling your product to people is what would help grow your business and make it successful. So in wrapping up for my class today in entrepreneurship, I would say part of being an entrepreneur gives you the freedom and the time to live the life you want and really share your dreams and passions with other people. It's not harder or easier, but there are challenges in running your own business. If you know that you have the discipline and you have the passion and you have the right support around you, then definitely think about what you can sell or what products you can put into the market. Because being an entrepreneur does give you that flexibility and that freedom, which really is what people want. And there are many people looking for a job, working for a company that they love. So if you know that you can create a company that other people would love to work for, you'll always have employees. Finding the right employees also is what helps your company to grow. Large companies like Google and Amazon, even Walmart, which people seem to hate in the public, have great employees. They have people that come to work every day on time, doing their jobs, helping the company grow. And once your company grows, that is exactly what you need. You always need really good employees to make your product or service work. An entrepreneur is just the person that starts the business. You're the person that owns the business. You're the person that grows the business. But really, to do all of those things, you'll always want to work with great employees, great partners, great suppliers, great vendors, and that is what makes your business grow. That's what makes it worth doing. There are times that you will work with partners or employees or suppliers that are not the greatest. Always look for people in the world that would make your business better. And entrepreneurs make those decisions every day. They are flexible, they're quick, because if you take too long to fire an employee or change a vendor or a supplier, that very decision can ruin your business. So for me and the clients that I work with, our goal is always to be flexible and always learn. Even after you graduate from school, you get your degree, you go through multiple certifications, always keep learning, always find books, classes, and seminars that will teach you something new, because that one new thing that you learn is the very thing that may help your business succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much on behalf of PX Sovereign and the business department. Great job today.
Thank you.